So hello everyone, in this video we'll be populating the countdown UI with the data we are getting from this form. So let's do that. First of all, we'll be checking whether the date is entered correctly or not. If somebody tries to enter a empty date, then we'll alert him that please enter a date, correct date or a date. Simply I can make a message of enter a date if data is not entered correctly. Otherwise, I'll be getting that data or the time inside into a millisecond. First, I need to create a variable, countdown value or anything you can write and assign it a date because it is a type will be a type of date. We'll store the time in milliseconds, the date time into milliseconds. Then we'll convert that time or that milliseconds into days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So we'll be doing that. First, let me just assign the new date with the date which we have got from here, and then I'll be getting that time. Get time will give us the milliseconds of the time or of the date, and then we'll be converting that. Let me just console log this first, countdown value, and let me just save it and show you what it will give to us. So it will give the milliseconds to us. So if I click on submit, so you can see that milliseconds are logged out. So these milliseconds will be converting them into days, hours, minutes, and seconds inside another function which will be update DOM. Maybe we can create this function, and inside that function, uh, let me just create this function first. I can create an arrow function or a normal update DOM function if I want. Update DOM, and inside that I'll be creating one countdown variable, maybe countdown active, and then I can create set interval. Set interval, what it will do is, let me just first remove it and convert the time which is there, which is countdown value, to milliseconds, days, and hours. So for doing that, we actually need to uh, create one now variable which will be the time for that time, or whenever we are getting that day, and then we can access the get time or the millisecond of that particular time. So what this will give us, that it will give you the current timing or current timing in milliseconds. Then we'll be grabbing the distance between both of them in a distance variable, and then we can do that by countdown value minus now. So if I log out this one, this distance, so if I do that now, submit, we can see that the difference or like the remaining time is there. So how much time is remaining now? If I click on it again, so you can see that it is changing quite faster. So this time is after uh, after subtracting the time for current, then we are getting the distance or the time which is remaining to our sales meeting. We are getting that into milliseconds. Now the main thing is we have to convert them into milliseconds, into milliseconds to hours, days, and years, or hour, days, and minutes and seconds. For that, we'll be uh, first of all adding some uh, variables which we need inside the this update DOM function. So we actually need second. So how many milliseconds are there in 1 second? So we'll be writing that in here. Then we'll be getting the how many minutes will be there, how many milliseconds will be there in 1 minute. So we'll be grabbing that. So we just need to multiply second to 60, then we can get the milliseconds in 1 minute. Then we'll be getting the hour by simply uh, multiplying minute to 60, then we'll get the hours. And for getting the days, like how many a day will be there, like how many milliseconds will be there in 1 day, for that we'll just be multiplying hour by 24, because in 1 day there are 24 hours. So in 1 day how many milliseconds will be there, we'll be grabbing that. So for example, 1000 milliseconds are there in 1 second. 1000 into 60 will be 60,000 milliseconds in 1 minute. And then similarly we'll be going for the hour by multiplying them into 60, and then to day, like multiplying by 24, then we'll be getting the milliseconds inside 1 day, into 1 day, in 1 day. You can consider that. So this is what I wanted. Now I'll be just using these inside this function, and then we'll be grabbing the actually we'll be converting days, minutes, hours in this. So we'll be doing that. So first of all, I have to use math.flow, and then inside that I have to use this distance variable. Then I have to divide it by the day. Day is nothing but the day which we have, like this, or the milliseconds which are there. After dividing, it will give you the data or the output in points or in decimals. So we are flowing that down to the we are only getting the integer part of that uh, day, because days cannot be like 1.5, 1.7. It should not be like this. It should be 1, 2 or something like that. So we are getting that in here in days. And then in the other one we can store the hours. So for the hours we can just simply uh, math.flow. We can simply math.flow, and then we can, in the distance we can just use the hour which is there, or the day is there, sorry, which we have calculated earlier. And then to uh, we'll be dividing that to hour, which is like the milliseconds will be to convert this distance into, like how many hours will be remaining there for getting the distance. So we are doing that in here. So first we are dividing the distance by the day, by the single day. Then it will only give you, like the days will be divided successfully, and the remaining part or the remainder will be the hours. Then we are dividing that milliseconds into from the hours, so we'll be getting that hour in here, and that will also be flowed down to the variable. And then the hours will be there, then we'll be getting minutes. Similarly you will be doing for the minutes. You have to divide the distance. Oh, you have to get the remainder by minutes, sorry, hours. And then you have to divide it by minutes. Then we'll be getting the seconds. Math dot, okay, let me just remove it, math dot floor. Then you have to do the same thing for seconds. You can do the percent minute. We'll divide the distance by minute, and then we'll get the remainder, like the remaining minutes, and then remaining seconds, sorry, remaining seconds. Then we'll divide those seconds in with the second and then we'll float that down, and then we'll be getting the seconds. So if I console log these days, minutes, hours, oh sorry, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. If I console log that, so you can see that 1 day, 12 hours, 0 second, 25 minutes, oh 25 seconds, and this is the hour. And if I do that again, now it is 14 seconds. So this we are doing actually. So for actually populating the things will not be like we have to do this, but we have to do that we have to populate the UI actually. So we have to write the things like the title should come here, and the element should go here, like the hour days should be here, hours should be here, and the minutes, and so on. So we have to do like this. So how we'll be doing that? So you know that we have already grabbed this time elements. So in the time elements, all the span will be there, but we want the first span and the text content to be set to days, right? And the second element of the span will be getting the hours, not the hour, only the hours, because hour is nothing but the like milliseconds in 1 hour. You have to grab this one which we have converted from this distance. Okay, so we can remove this console log if you want. I can remove that, and then similarly we'll be doing that for the third, which will be for our minutes. I'll be doing for minutes, and then we'll be doing that for seconds. Yeah, now we what we need actually is we need to hide the UI of this form. This form should be hidden, then, and that uh, this counter should be visible. So we'll be setting the dynamic properties by using set element or get element set attribute, sorry. So we'll be doing that by grabbing the counter title. Also we haven't said that, also haven't like set that title. So it should not be like this, it should be title, and I can store that into a global variable, so I can use that inside this function as well, or I can pass that to it, but we'll be needing that, so that's why I can use title and the date empty, and then we'll be setting that countdown or counter title element dot text content should be the title which is set, and the counter time elements are like completed, I think. Wait a second. Yeah, it's completed. Now we need to uh, grab this form, which is this one. Yeah, so we have to unhide this element, which is counter element, and then how can we do that? We just need to add set attribute, or we can use remove attribute, or I can directly set that if I want, or I can use this one, and I have to wait. Let me just do it directly. Hidden. I can do that directly as well, like style and like inner HTML. So I can set it to counter element should be false, and the counter form element should be hidden, so it should be true. We can do that, but I have to do this first, otherwise we'll see that element first. Okay, I'll be pasting that in here, and if I save this now, if I save this now, and if I submit the element, so you can see that the sales meeting item is there, and the days, hours, minutes and seconds are automatically changing. What is this actually? Let me just inspect this element. Okay, what is that? Maybe anything. Counter form, let me just check it. Okay. This is form area. Okay, I have to grab that as well, so I have to hide that, not the form. Counter form area, and then get element by id, or I can use query selector, because now I think that will work. Counter form area, and that will not show that empty box again. If I do that, let me, yeah, now it's not visible. So earlier it was only removing that form, not the complete div. That's why it was there. Now what we need actually is we need to change this counter after, like, every second it should be updated. How we will be doing that? So for that we'll be just adding it, adding our all function inside a set interval. So we can do that by just wrapping these things inside a set interval function. First let me just create one more variable, which is countdown active, which will be storing our interval. Set interval will be a function which executes some function or some bit of code on every second, or on every millisecond we will be like writing there. So I have to write set interval, it will execute the function inside that. On every millisecond we'll be writing in here. So for example, for 1 second I'll be writing 1000 milliseconds. So this we are doing, and then let me just save it. So we have pasted all the code inside this countdown active. Yeah, if I do now, you can see that it is changing, right? So this what we did in this video, and we have changed the counter, and this counter is updating in every 1 second. So this is what I wanted to tell you in this video. In the future video we'll be doing further things in this project. So let's meet in the another one. Thank you for watching.